Hey guys, welcome back to the news. Still on Tinubu's cabinet reshuffling, the Minister of Power, Adebayo, has escaped being sacked during President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's cabinet reshuffling on Wednesday. This comes despite insistent national grid collapses and blackouts for 3 days in northern Nigerian state and some other states in the southern parts. It was reported that Tinubu announced the sack of 5 ministers, appointed 7 new ministers, and reshuffled others on Wednesday. The ministers shown the exit door included Barrister Uju Kennedy, the Minister of Women Affairs, Lola Adejohn, the Minister of Tourism, Professor Taho Mamman, the Minister of Education, and others. Abdulaziz, Minister of State, Housing and Urban Development, Dr. Jamila Bai Ibrahim, Minister of Youth Development. Meanwhile, some new persons were appointed. Minister Nitawi was appointed Minister of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Reduction. Mohammed, the Minister of Labour and Employment. Mrs. Bianca Odumegu Ojukwu, the Minister of State Foreign Affairs, and Dr. Jumoke Oduola, Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment. However, against expectations, Adelabu survived Tinubu's sack despite calls for his removal. Recently, the Human Rights Writers Association of Nigeria called for Adelabu to be sacked over the insistent grid collapses. Earlier, the Nigerian students, under the aegis of the National Association of Nigerian Students, also made a case for Mr. Adelabu's dismissal as the power minister. An expert in the oil sector also urged Adelabu to be shown the exit door amid policy inconsistencies. We recall that the president of Nigeria Customer Protection Network, Kunle Olabiyo, had confirmed that some northern states were plunged into darkness. The Transmission Company of Nigeria, in a statement on Tuesday, confirmed the blackout in northern states. The transmission company had reported this blackout. But then, Nigerians keep on, pondering on the consistent collapsing of the national grid. At least the national grid collapsed about 4 times last week, which resulted to a nationwide blackout. But as if that was not enough, it also includes the statement from this particular minister, the way he speaks to Nigerians, more like he's mocking Nigerians. So a lot of persons had said this person is not right for the job. Someone that's, a minister of power, and then the national grid keeps on collapsing, but then they did nothing about it. But guys, what are your thoughts on this? He did not make it to the list of those that will be shown their way out, of those that will be shown the exit door. He was quite lucky to not be sacked by Mr. President. I guess the president considers him as someone that is competent enough for him to retain his position. And those the president had shown the exit door, the president sees them as incompetent, due to one reasons or the other, including Uju Kennedy. Her sack and her removal as Minister of Women Affairs was quite painful to most Nigerians. It was really painful. A lot of persons had reacted that why would she be removed? But then the president decides who will stay in his cabinet and who would leave his cabinet. These are direct orders from Mr. President. And who would question the president? Although this particular Minister of Power escaped being sacked during President Bola Tinubu's cabinet reshuffling. So what are your thoughts on this? Do you really think this may be maybe he's a personal he shares a personal relationship with the president, or could this be related to tribe? Because this same person had extended his congratulatory message to the newly appointed Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment, Jumoke Oduwole, a former senior lecturer in the Department of International Law, Faculty of Law, University of Lagos, and other federal ministers appointed by Mr. President. The Minister of Power, Adebayo, applauded the appointment of the new ministers as testament to the president's confidence in identifying and seeking out competent individuals to steer the ship of the Nigerian state. Now, some persons have doubts concerning his competency, if he really have the capacity to steer the ship of the Ministry of Power, due to the consistent collapse of the national grid under his under his supervision. The national grid keeps on collapsing. Even the wall of Jericho did not collapse to the extent that our national grid was collapsing under this particular Adebayo. They gave the widow of Ojukwu, that's Bianca Ojukwu, a position. She is now one of Tinubu's ministers, which many Nigerians applauded Tinubu for including her into his government. Some persons are quite optimistic about her appointment, amongst others, with some other persons that were included. So my country people, what are your thoughts on this? This is a major decision, this cabinet reshuffling. I'm sure Tinubu did not just wake up one morning and reshuffled his cabinet. He must have been compiling this list for long. I guess he had this list on his table. He was just waiting for the right moment to execute his plans for these ministers. Unfortunately, one of Nigeria's favorite minister, Uju Kennedy, was sacked. Among other persons that were sacked, nobody expected the sack of Uju Kennedy. Nobody expected the sack of Uju Kennedy, but it was alleged that sometimes she acts unprofessional, due to her suing some foreign bodies and all of that. So, a lot of stories regarding Uju Kennedy. But as for this minister of power, we don't really know, Sha. I guess he's Tinubu's personal person. That is why he was not removed, because some persons are calling for his removal. So my country people, what are your thoughts on this? The likes of Barrister Bello Mohammed was removed as the Minister of State, Water, Resources and Sanitation to the Minister of State Works. A lot of reshuffling really went on during this process. Guys, I'm dropping here. Kindly share your thoughts on this in the comments section. Thank you.